Hello everyone. It's Stray Faye here with another episode of Cupid Parasite, which is what I believe to be probably Allan's last episode. It seems like we're very close to the happy ending. We learned a lot last episode. We learned about the gods and what they do to angels. They pretty much use them as a source of lower gods. Kind of weird thinking about it. And that led to the tragedy of Lynette and Allan, whatever their angel names were, getting separated. And Allan ended up falling and becoming a demon and using his obsessed love mania to try to save Lynette from being consumed as a god, from burning out like a star. But yeah, Lynette decided to take the plunge. She learned the truth, she got her memories back. She decided to just jump off of heaven, which I guess signifies falling. And we met Allan on the way there. Allan was also falling with us. So now we are, I don't know, like, are we in like some sort of limbo? Like, she wrapped Juno's dress around Allan to heal his wounds. So I don't know, like, are they gonna become gods? Is like Juno's the god of, or goddess of marriage? Like, I don't know. Well, let's find out. Let's start this chapter. Single-winged angels. I held on to his body tightly as we fell. Allan, if I said that you and I could both turn back into angels, what would you say? What? As he whispered that, his eyes grew wide. A being like me, who fell into the world of demons. I could go back to heaven? That's right. If I wrap you up in this, you won't disappear. Don't you want to see that world again? Allan looked up into the sky as if searching for any divine soldiers that might be pursuing us. Could they just become angels again? That'd be neat. Can we see, like, purified Allan? I think he had like a different hair color, right? They described him as like a blonde-haired man who looked totally different than the Allan that we see right now. But his expressions made his true desires perfectly clear. 400 years he's been separated from his home, a home which he couldn't return after becoming a demon. His eyes said it all. He wanted to see it. He wanted to see it all one more time. It's his home. It's like where he was born. I understood exactly how he felt, so I smiled at him to ease his troubled heart. Don't worry. The divine soldiers aren't in heaven right now. I can tell thanks to this divine artifact. Sorry, gonna cough. Okay. Hope that wasn't too loud. Probably was. Allan, just tell me honestly. Do you want to see it again? I looked deep into his eyes. He smiled through the pain I knew he was feeling. It's a conflicted feeling. Like, it's your home, but it's also like the source of like the tragedy. Like that's how they got separated. Like, it might be a little bit worrisome going back to that same situation. I do. I want to gaze upon that world with you one more time. Alright, I'm gonna share some memories. And so, we went to heaven together. Just as I told him, the divine soldiers were nowhere to be seen. It was the same peaceful heaven I remembered. It's been so long. Wrapped in Juno's divine artifact, Allan watched the angels go. It'd be funny if we saw him in that dress. Too much to ask. We were here together once, so long ago. Yeah. We had so much fun then, didn't we? No worries to trouble our thoughts. The only thing I had to think about was you. Allan looked at me and laughed softly. You were such a little troublemaker back then, you know that. Even without voices, you were always trying to make me laugh. That's true. And even then, you were so kind to me. You couldn't speak a word, but you still wanted to make me smile. You did that too. You could tell how easily I got depressed. So you were always worried about me. You were the person who always wanted to see me laugh. And that made me want to protect you even more. We held each other's hands and stared into one another's eyes, like mirrors, just like we used to. We felt like we were the only two souls in the world, that the only thing our eyes could see were each other. Allan, I love you. I loved you since long before I was struck with Cupid's arrow. Ever since those days we spent together in heaven. And then you were so kind to me during those 30 days we were lovers. And of course when I was reincarnated after that. Allan, I love you. I want to be with you forever. Allan looked at me and laughed, still clearly in pain. Then he looked out at the angels. Last time I was here, I had no idea what this emotion was. I always wondered what you might call it. Even without the language, I couldn't help but think about that. Was it love, friendship, fondness, affection, devotion? I didn't know what family was. So at one point I thought it must be that familial love that humans were always talking about. But no matter how much I thought, I couldn't figure it out. I just knew that you were the most important thing in the world to me. That's why I eventually became a demon and came after you. He laughed wryly, then looked down at his body. Even when I became a demon, all I could think about was you. About ways to get you back. that is true obsessive love. Like, he did anything he could just to get her back. Like, no matter the cost. Once I learned that Cupids would disappear, all I wanted was to stop that from happening. I didn't even need us to be together again. When he said that last part, a dark look crossed his face. But now I truly understand. I love you. I love you so much. Allan! I love you, as a man loves a woman. He tenderly reached out for me, but just before he touched me, he clenched his hand into a fist. But that's why we can't be together. He bitterly lowered his hand. Oh, is it because he thinks he's too tainted now? Why? The last thing I want is for the woman I love to be unhappy. I'm a demon, and the horrible things I've done because of that. Being a greater demon is proof that you used and abused humans. That you've sinned. If it's the god's duty to guide man, then it's our duty to corrupt him. That's the kind of creature I've become. I'm such a filthy creature that I've cursed the gods themselves. I can't even tell you the kinds of sins I've committed. He looked at me with guarded eyes and looked at the other angels. It was as if he was longing for something he could never obtain. I don't look anything like these other angels anymore. I'm not the angel you once knew. That person you say you love, he doesn't exist anymore. Allan turned his head away from me. Still, I saw the pain and loneliness in his eyes. He's incapable of hiding his true self. Despite that, he still tries. So I puffed out my cheeks, the way I did when I was an angel. You think I didn't know what you've done? Didn't know you've done things? I was your advisor at Cupid Corp after all. I mean, she's probably done worse things than just cheating or sharing. The thieving parasite. A literal demon responsible for driving away so many of our members. That's the biggest sin in Lynette's eyes. Like, how dare you lower my numbers? You've only seen the tip of the iceberg. If you knew the kinds of sins I have committed, you despise me forever. For one thing, He tried to confess his sins, but then his lips just started to tremble. He didn't say a thing. Instead, he started sobbing silently and turned his head to the side, always ashamed. I can't. I don't want to say what I've done. That's how tainted I am now. That's why I can't. Whatever you've done, you haven't lost your sense of guilt, right? I mean, you could have murdered like tons of people. I don't know what he did, other than sleep around. When I pointed that out, his whole body started to tremble. It would have been so easy for you to just let go of your guilt and truly embrace your demon nature. But you didn't. Kind and a little naive. You haven't changed one bit since we were in heaven. Plenty of humans curse the gods all the time. You think that's really all that bad? Plus, you always treat me well. You always put me before yourself. Maybe you've done some bad things, but who you are hasn't changed. That's not... You spent all this time wanting what's best for me, right? That's all the proof I needed. When I pointed that out, he let out a little gasp. I don't need any more reason than that to love you. And I do love you, Allan. Whatever you've done, whatever's happened, the person you are is the person I love. Lynette, how can you? He sighed and then laughed at the same time. He pressed his fingers into his eyes. You must understand, right? The desire to keep that thing you love clean. Oops. Mash the A button. And who decides who's clean? I don't think you're dirty, Allan. Maybe you've sinned, but your soul is noble and pure. But I... His shoulders were trembling and he was breathing heavily. He's the same as always, a little childish, a little stubborn. As his other half, I need to be with him. Allan, I love you. This time he didn't refuse my hands. Lynette. Is this really okay? For me to want to be with you? Of course, we're together as one. We always have been. I know you haven't forgotten that. No, I haven't. I couldn't. That's what caused all this pain. I knew I was stupid, but I couldn't forget you. Because you're my other half. I love you too. Good, so we love each other. Then let's be together. Forever. I held his hand and looked into his eyes. His smile still had some of that usual troubled look. The same expression he always made when he heard my own crazy wishes. If you kiss me again, you'll probably become a demon, like me. That's fine with me. I'm tired of the gods. No, I'm serious. The life of a demon isn't something you should desire. But you've been living as a demon all this time, right? I'm sure I can handle it. That's not what I want for you. You're so kind. If you become a demon, you'll be cursing yourself. I've been spending all this time trying to find a way to avoid that. I mean, Claire seems pretty happy, I don't know. But still, I want to be with you. Then that's all that matters, because I want to be with you too. Allan's afraid of me becoming a demon. He keeps refusing out of kindness. He doesn't want me to start sinning. And because of that compassion, I'm willing to accept anything. He took a deep breath, then looked me straight in the eye, as if making sure one last time. Then, you don't want to become an angel again? Not at all. Do you? I whispered that to him, and for some reason it was enough to make him laugh. No, not really. I want to be able to hear your voice. He laughed again and hugged me tightly. Then together we turned our backs on heaven. And we fell, and just kept falling. Oh, they made their choice. As we fell, we cast off heaven and Celestia. Juno's clothes fluttered in the wind. Falling hand in hand, we gently pressed our lips together. Is she naked? Does she have other clothes on? Oh, yeah, the dress is disintegrating. I mean, that's a very sexy skydive that they're doing. A kiss which represented our vows to the goddess of marriage. But also, a kiss which commemorated my own fall. That's very, very poetic. The falling of a goddess. I could feel my divine powers draining out of those same lips. Like an angel losing their wings, Juno's clothes were abandoning me. I've fallen and I can no longer exist as a god. The necklace that had never left my neck up till now made a small click and fell off my body. The golden arrow and leaden arrow both made their way back up into the sky. Goodbye, Celestia. And goodbye, my former godly self. I no longer have the divine power to guide people into love. But in a way, wasn't that my goal all along? I wanted to show everyone that humans have the power to surpass even the gods. I'll help people get married without using my arrows. If I could do that, then would you admit I'm right? That fight I had with Dad so many years ago. That was the moment that led me becoming a bridal advisor and helping people fall in love as a human. There's no reason that still can't be accomplished without the help from the gods. All that matters is the desire to bring happiness. I'll be okay as long as I have that. Allan, I love you so much. I love you with all my heart, Lynette. Two angels falling to earth. Locked in a kiss that would taint both of our souls, we promised our love to one another. In order to gain our freedom. Wow, that's a very, very lovely picture. Falling and descending. At the end. All right, that was lower the volume a bit. That was a route. That felt like that was the best story. I don't know how you could top that. Yeah, Allan turned out to be, I like at the beginning, I was like, I don't think I like Allan. He's kind of a scumbag. And then now I'm just like, oh, Allan, you're my favorite now. I don't know, like, how did he do that? I mean, like, yeah, he like literally became like a cheating scumbag to like Oh, he's actually Lynette's, like, true soulmate. Like, I can't see Lynette with, like, any other dude now. It's like, it's literally her other half. I mean, I guess that puts, you could say, like, that puts them a different meaning to, like, effing yourself, I guess, but in a way, they're different people. I'm not gonna say that they're, like, conjoined twins or something. Although it makes me think that they are, because, like, wasn't there, like, one scene where they didn't really, like, read it, like, they didn't really go back to that, like, after they did it. Like, Lynette noticed a scar on, Allan's back, and then, like, Allan mentioned that, like, she has a mark on her back, too. It was like, is that, like, where they were conjoined or something? Their lost wing. But yeah, that was really clever with, like, the one-winged angels. There were hints, like, with the bugs, and they always, like, talked about, like, their soul's other half, or yeah, like two angels supporting each other by holding hands. And in the other routes too, they mentioned that, like, oh, Eros is, like, usually depicted as having one wing. And I actually have a necklace of Eros. Like, it's just like a wing, just like one wing necklace of the god Eros. So yeah, that was really clever. They had, like, hints all over, and then, like, Allan would pull out his one wing, and you're like, all right. Put the volume back to where it was. A love song for fallen angels. I think I have it too high. There we go. Several weeks have passed since we fell. Oh, is Lynette gonna be a demon now? Thank you very much! Alright. Well, she looks the same, but she might be like Claire's, like, this is my human form. Please come again. They're running the pillow store. Now we're helping out customers together at our pillow shop. After I fell, we came to the human realm and decided to do the pillow shop thing together. Do the pillow shop thing. I guess technically, this is, like, her second life. She doesn't have that job as that bridal advisor anymore, so this is, like, fresh start, I guess. I figured it was a good idea since I'd become a demon myself. The human version and god version of myself has disappeared. I decided to not go back to college or back to my job at Cupid Corp. Instead, I just want to spend all my time with Allan. I guess, yeah. Been there, done that. Now they're in their I'm gonna live together honeymoon phase. Besides, if I went back to Cupid Corp, I'm sure I'd run into someone I know. That would actually be kind of funny. Like, she got a job where, like, interviewing Shelby be like, don't I know you? Like, wait. If I ran into Mr. Snail, he'd definitely be surprised to see me looking so young. Or I don't know. They did say that those spirited away, like, the memories. People's memories of them would vanish too, but maybe that would trigger something if we saw, like, an exact copy of Lynette just walking for an interview. We had a feeling of deja vu. I was like, haven't I seen you before? Haven't I hired you before? After all, it's been 20 long years since I vanished. Whew! Sales were good today. True. Thanks to you, we've had a huge increase in male customers. Oh my. He touched my cheek and gave me a kiss. Are we servicing both members? We're demons now, so we can kiss and make love as much as we want. Oh, like rabbits. Alright. Needless to say, we've been making the most of our time together. I don't know. I'm just treating everyone the way I normally would. Yeah, I know. That just means you're still just a demon newbie. He chuckled and tapped my tiny tail. She has a tail now? That's right. Ever since I stopped being Cupid, I started growing a little demon tail. Pull on it. I was curious to find out what kind of demon I'd become, so I went to the underworld. But it turns out I'd hardly changed at all. Lame. I still need to eat and sleep, and I don't need to feed on dreams or souls. I'm a demon for sure, but I'm also like a human. Honestly, it was pretty unexpected. I prepared myself for the worst. I'm so happy we get to work here together. This store means a lot to me, you know. By the way, I always wondered why you decided to open a pillow store. Allan nodded his head curtly and looked around the store. He could pluck the feathers off his wing and make pillow stuffing, I don't know. Actually, I kind of inherited this place from someone else. Huh? Inherited? An older lady used to run this place all by herself. She was deeply in love with her husband who had passed away. Her dreams were filled with kindness. My demonic work was exhausting, and I loved hearing about her time with him. Did she... Wait. Did he go in the dreams of that old lady? Posing as that old lady's husband? Allan! I was so sick of lying and cheating. Working at a pillow shop meant I could feed without having to do all that, right? So I kept helping out here, and we became very close. Eventually, she decided to give me the shop. I'm just thinking of Allan and old lady now. She showed me a way that I could live normally. And to show my thanks, I want to always look after the store. I see. The owner must be looking down on you from the heavens with a smile to hear you say that. Oh no. She's still very much alive. Oh, how old is she? She is? It's only natural to assume the owner must have died based on his story. While I stood there surprised, Allan just shrugged. Last I heard, she was in Rwanda. She loves to travel, and she wants to visit every single country before she dies. Well, that's a big bucket list. Also probably very costly. We talked once in a while, but actually I haven't seen her in over 10 years. She sounds like a very energetic person. Right. I'm sure you'd like her. Actually, you kind of remind me of her. Really? Really. I'd love for the two of you to meet someday. She's kind of the closest thing I have to a mom in this world. What about Clarice? Clarice is your mommy too. Allan's face softened as he talked about her. Clarice, who raised him when he became a fallen angel, and the owner who helped him out when he was a human. He's always surrounded himself with kindness and mommies. I'm sure it's because he held on to his warm, caring heart even after he fell. Then we need to make this store an even bigger success so we can surprise her whenever she comes back. Yeah, definitely. And now that you're here with me, I'm sure we can. Love-struck female customer. Hello, is this the store that sells those matchmaking pillows? The door opened and a new customer stepped through. Is that what they're advertising now? This seems like kind of like a snake oil business. Like, hey, we have this pillow that'll make you rich. Come and get it. The one and only. How can we help you today? Well, there's a certain guy that I like, but I'm so shy I'm having trouble confessing my love to him. Understood. Lynette, would you mind helping her out? It would be my pleasure. I unleashed my demonic power and took a good look at the customer. Actually, when I went from Cupid to Demon, I gained a new ability. I'm able to see if a person's romantic desires will come true. Basically, Pillow Luxury has become a kind of pillow store slash fortune teller. What? Okay, I guess she still kind of has her Cupid powers, if she can, like, see that. Wasn't there another demon that could do something similar? Wolfer, I think it was called. I looked up info about demons earlier, and it mentioned a demon that helps facilitate matchmaking between men and women. It sounded a lot like Cupid, even though it's a demon. Maybe it's a past Cupid. I mean, some of them have died, some of them have fallen in love, become human, and probably died, but maybe one of those Cupids fell and became full fear. Maybe it was another Cupid that fell and became a demon. Lucifer, Belial, Azazel. There was plenty of examples of angels that fell and became demons. I don't see any problems with me becoming a demon too. Be fine with it. It's cool. A former Cupid doing matchmaking, and a former angel becoming an incubus and selling pillows. Seems fine to me. Ah, I can see it clearly. Your love is going to work out, no doubt. Really? I'm sure of it. But the key is that you'll have to confess your love to him. Oh, so I won't confess to me? I'm afraid not. But the person you like really is in love with you, so I'm sure you'll be fine. I was really hoping he'd confess his love to me. Well, if that's really important to you, try giving him this pillow. He'll confess his love to you the next day, guaranteed. He's gonna give him wet dreams, the wet dream pillow. For real? I'm definitely gonna buy it. Thank you for coming. I let Allan handle the sale from there, while I just gazed at the pillow. Part of a matchmaking demon's power is being able to put a spell on things. If someone uses this pillow, I can control their dreams. Actually, I learned about it from Allan. He's been a greater demon for so long, he's learned all kinds of little tricks. You who sleeps with this pillow, I beseech you to confess your love to your friend. May you find success and happiness. Okay, that should do it. As long as she actually gives it to the person she loves, I'm 100% sure it'll be okay. This is how Pillow Luxuria has recently earned its reputation as the matchmaking pillow store. cursing couples to find love. Thank you again. I'll let you know how it all turned out. Great, we'll be waiting. Woo! Are you feeling okay? Oh yeah. You look pretty tired though. Come here. Let me give you some of my strength. Oh, Allan pulled me close and kissed me. Ow. It's like that Kirby game. Smooch and just share food. Share health. His power flowed into me through his lips and his tongue. I could feel myself getting warmer and brighter. Greater demons really are amazing. The same kiss that took away my powers as a god was now giving me all the strength I needed. Thank you, Allan. Even as I said that, he brought his face close to mine again. I just don't know what to do. You're just so cute. I need you right now. Oh, whispering. That was so sweet and low. He pushed me back against the counter. Oh, he almost did the wall slam. Hey, the store isn't even closed yet. Oh, I can take care of that right now. Allan waved his hand and the door closed and locked itself. The sign flipped from open to closed. Like I said, greater demons really are amazing. Seems like demons really can do anything. I'm having a hard time telling the difference between them and gods. Actually, I've been wondering about that for a while. Seems like gods and demons are basically the same thing. We covered that concept in college, too. As the major religions emerged, the gods of other ethnic groups were treated as demons. Maybe that's all this is. Gods and demons are both born from angels, so maybe there really isn't a meaningful difference. It's just like the choices they make, I guess. I became Cupid. Allan became an incubus. But now here we are, both demons. Lynette. Huh? He suddenly started kissing my neck. Then he started licking me and placing his hands all over my body. Oh, wow. Wowie, wow. Oh, wait. Hold on. Not in the store. There are windows, Allie. People can see from the street. Look at that pedestrian looking at us. Getting a show. Come on. I already closed it. So what's the problem? But we still need to clean up and... Ah! As he brushed my tail with his fingertips, I let out a small moan. Is that an... It's like the... it's like No Game, No Life when they rub the angel wings. It's actually a no-no zone. One thing that's changed since becoming a demon is I have more weaknesses now. Ah, sorry. That spot is extra sensitive, huh? Idiot! Don't act like you didn't know! Oh, I know very well. And I know when you call me an idiot, that means you like it. Not like I like you or anything, baka. Laughing softly to himself, he continued to lower my defenses with his experienced hands. It really wasn't fair. Even back when we were in heaven, I could never resist him when he made that happy face. But we did it in our dreams last night, right? A dream is just a dream. Nothing compares to the real you. He kissed me sweetly, which just made me want him even more. He's so cruel. He knows how much I love him, and he knows how much I love this kind of approach. I knew I would never be a match for him, because my opponent was the man that I loved. We kissed, then stared into each other's eyes. It was the same act as centuries ago, but filled with much more passion now. Here, put your hands on the counter. Allan, wait! Are we gonna do it on the counter, sir? It's been 400 years, remember? It was all I needed to satisfy my mind and body. So naughty! So naughty! Not quite true that becoming a demon didn't change me. I'm far more aggressive now than I was when I was a god. We didn't need to hold back anymore. If anything, it gave us a reason to share our energy. And as a greater demon, Allan has plenty of energy. Oh, is that what the kids call it nowadays? But I didn't want to consume so much energy that I felt stuffed. He ran his fingers through my hair and we started to make out like crazy. Another night together was drawing to a close. It wasn't until much later that I finally felt relieved. So how do you feel? Or rather, how did it feel? Don't ask! Allan was laying next to me. I smacked him, then lay my head on his chest. He can basically read my mind, so he didn't have to ask. That was just his way of teasing me. You want to rate his performance? Don't act like you don't know. Sheesh. I know, but it's nice to hear you say it. Sometimes I get worried that I'm the only one who's really into it. Really? I know I act confident in our dreams, but in real life it's different. Allan mumbled that and started to blush. It was enough to put me back in a good mood. If that's all it is, you have nothing to worry about. I did enjoy it. Quite a lot, actually. Are you sure? I'm sure. I nodded against his chest. In response, Allan popped up suddenly like an excited puppy. Is that what the kids call it? Then let's go again. No, we haven't even had dinner yet. What about that huge meal I just gave you? Smirking, Allan took my chin in his hand and kissed me. There. Now you don't need dinner, right? Another sweet kiss. Or in Allan's world, a sour one. A kiss filled with the power of a demon, sweet as syrup. No! It's gonna be morning before we know it if we keep going like this. I seriously was hungry. I could feel my stomach starting to growl. She needs to eat real food. I might be a demon, but I still have to eat. I gave Allan my angriest glare and he finally let me go. Oh, that's right. You still have to eat like a human, huh? She's like a weird hybrid. Like, feed on demonic energy and food. He gave another one of his teasing chuckles. He pretended like he forgot, but we both know he didn't. What a terrible demon. Okay, then let me cook you something. You just stay right here. He patted my head, then made his way to the kitchen, just like he did when we were a couple, for those 30 days. But the big difference is that now we're actually a true couple. I'm so filled with joy right now. I laid in bed and just watched Allan working in the kitchen. Obviously, since he only used to feed on dreams, he was only making enough food for me. I just realized... Am I going to dream about what we just did too? Imagining what my dreams might look like tonight, my face started to get hot. Even now, Allan still feasted on my dreams. Since I used to be Cupid, my dreams still taste sweet, even after turning into a demon. Maybe it's because we used to be a matched pair of angels that we match so well now. Anyway, he doesn't have to feed on customers anymore. My dreams seem to be enough for him. How are they perpetuating this energy? It's like... The reason why she was like dying as a god is because he was draining the energy. Did they just like discover an infinite energy source now? So he cooks food for me and I provide him a meal in return. Okay, so Lynette is just like a food to demon energy converter now, I guess. I'm happy with our arrangement, of course, but I get so nervous, both in my dreams and in real life, that it's kind of hard. In a dream or in reality, Allan is the one I love, so I'm sure he'll desire me forever and ever. And even when I sleep, I feel like I don't get any rest at all. Still, I'm glad, because I got to become a demon like him. A savory smell wafted in from the kitchen. Allan's cooking has already improved so much from before. Lately he's been making all of my favorite meals. So I guess it's okay. He can feed on me as much as he wants. Maybe this is my chance to teach him the real difference between sweet and sour. But the dreams have been pretty hard lately. Allan's been showing me all these places I can't go in real life. Yesterday he took me deep underwater, and the day before we were way up in the clouds. Wow. Okay. Yeah, doing it, up and down, all over the place. If he keeps talking about how sweet and amazing everything is, that's just gonna make things even harder. I might get too nervous and my heart just might just explode. Learning about what your lover likes when it comes to sex and food is pretty embarrassing. But even for an incubus, taking time to prepare your meal and get the right flavor must be important too. Okay then, I'll forget the whole sweet versus sour thing for now. Here you go, eat up. Okay. I got dressed and walked over to the table. He made me a huge steak. Yay! This is exactly what I was in the mood for. Alright, so it's something hearty, I guess. I figured as much. You mentioned it earlier. I did? During our date, remember? You said you wanted hamburgers, fried chicken, and steak. Wow. being a little greedy there, aren't you, Lynette? All of it at once. Okay, it's that date back then. Like hamburgers or fried chicken or a nice thick steak sounds good too, you know, or you think. And then she got stabbed. He wasn't wrong, that definitely did happen. But that was over 20 years ago. And he still remembered. And then he plunged a knife in my chest. A lover who remembers every little thing and makes all my dreams come true. As I enjoyed my steak, I thought about the fact that we'd be together forever, and that made me even happier. A few days later, Pillow Luxuria was closed for the day, so we headed to Rice Skirt Beach. We'd been talking and we both decided we wanted to go again. It's so beautiful here. It sure is. Hand in hand, we walked down onto the beach. The beach at sunset. I missed this. Yeah, it looks a lot like heaven, doesn't it? There's less crystals in the water. Yeah. It brings back a lot of memories. The place where Allan and I were born and lived for so long. Since we can never go back, my memories are bittersweet. You loved that place. You looked up into the sky as if thinking, today is even more beautiful than yesterday. What? How did you know what I was thinking? It was so obvious. One time you even fell over because you were so entranced by the sky. Don't remind me. I remember everything about you, you know. Including that time you pulled one of my feathers out. I still resent you for that. What? I seriously did that? Yeah. You wore it like one of those headdresses from the human realm. They're like childhood friends. They know all of the embarrassing stories. He makes it sound like I was a total airhead back then. Still, we couldn't talk, so I was probably just trying my best to communicate. I wanted to make him laugh and share my happiness with him. I do remember trying really hard. It really takes me back. I guess I was trying my hardest to make you happy back then. So when you made a face that told me you wanted to do that, I did everything I could to make your wish come true. That? Have a pretend wedding. A pretend wedding? That was my favorite game to play back when we were in heaven. How do they know, like, about weddings and stuff? I feel like this is like a very isolated place, heaven is. Allan grabbed my hand and started running. So listen, let's have another pretend wedding today. Okay. I was so happy to see his innocent face. I couldn't resist putting on a wedding with him again for the first time in forever. Just like we used to do back in heaven. Just gotta, like, act it all out. I can't say any words. As an angel, I had assisted the current Cupid a few times, so I learned how to imitate the bride and groom. Okay, so they do have contact with the gods, even as angels. It's not like they're forced to just. Well, I mean they are forced to, but it's not like all of them are destined to become gods and lose their memories. Abandoning our normal conversation, we started acting out the wedding with gestures alone. holding hands and nodding to each other as if we were making lifelong promises to each other. Pretending to lift the veil, then meeting for a gentle kiss. And then, the ring made of flowers. Huh? Oh, we put on a real ring. When we were in heaven, my ring was always made of flower petals, but now I felt something hard and cool. What was the sensation? Could it be? Sneaky Allan. He's like, let's do a pretend wedding, and then it's like, psych, this is a real wedding. Allan, what? There was an actual ring on my finger. The gem glittered in the setting sun. It's a wedding ring. Do you accept? To say I was surprised would be an understatement. While I stood there stunned, Allan's face opened up into a huge grin. I want to marry you. Not for pretend. For real. I want to be connected to you forever. Husband and wife. A ceremony in which two people, once strangers, become family. Blessed by Juno, the goddess of marriage. She might have some, words for you after destroying her dress, but... A relationship leading into the future. Supported by Cupid, the goddess of love. We live in the human realm now, so I want a human commitment. I want to be able to tell the world that you're my wife. Are you sure about this? The fact is, I'm not a human, which means I can't receive the gods' blessings. Is there any way for me to be forgiven? Can I actually enter into marriage even though I'm a demon? Allan nodded as if he knew all the questions I wanted to ask. I told you already, didn't I? I want to make you happy as a human being. All I ever wanted was for you to live as a human and to be happy. That's true. That's something he told me over and over again. He's the one who yelled and shouted and did everything he could to make me happy. We spent over a century together, and when we were separated for another 4 centuries, and when I nearly disappeared. And even for those 20 years after I reincarnated, for all this time. I seduced you into becoming a demon, so maybe that particular wish can't come true. But my wish for you to be happy will never change. A happiness that's neither human nor divine. No, I don't care what it is. I just want you to be happy. And I want us to be together from now on. Allan! I was so happy to hear him talk about us being together, instead of just my happiness. Do you think you'd be okay with that? With us becoming family? Even before he asked me, I already knew my answer. I was already overflowing with tears of joy. Allan, of course. Allan, please, let me be your wife. And I would be honored to be your husband. This was something I pretended to say so many times in heaven, imagining how I'd say it in real life. So we were both thinking the same thing. I guess so. I held his hands and looked up into the sky. Slowly, I closed my eyes. I felt the soft caress of his lips. This kiss was different from any other. It was sincere and nervous. A completely pure sensation. It lacked all of his normal demonic power. We each touched the rings on our fingers. Finally, we can be together forever. You're right. Nothing can take that away. We could keep repeating our human lives over and over. Because we're demons. And demons have no concept of life expectancy. It's possible we might disappear if we somehow use up all our power, but we have no duties, like the gods, so we can just live however we want. Which meant we could live even longer than them. Let's just be happy together. For decades, centuries, millennia. Be together and become a true family. I want to keep doing everything I can to make your wishes come true. And I want to make yours come true too. Because we both want each other to be happy. And because of that, our happiness can go on into eternity. Lynette, I love you. I love you too, Allan. We whispered our feelings to each other, and he lifted me into the air, just like he did when we were in the ocean. Just like he did when we were angels. And like when we were angels, we held hands and kissed as if it were the first time. With dreams of laughing and loving as if we were back in heaven. We kissed again and prayed to the gods despite our demonic nature. Once upon a time, a certain pair of demons found happiness in a rare land. Could we perhaps weave such a myth? I will never let go of you again. And I'll always hold on to you. Hands that have been separated so many times before came together again, and we kissed, wishing for a bright future. And we promised each other that we'll always be together. Aw, the end. How sweet. We don't get to see her in a wedding dress, but they finally implied that they're gonna have their pretend wedding is gonna become real wedding. That was also a theme too, like the dreams versus reality. Like they were, Allan was in the dream for so long. But like he never really got to do it in reality. Okay, so we've actually been going for quite a while. I thought maybe I would be able to fit all the endings into one video, but maybe I won't do that. My throat's actually kind of wheezy. Little, the recovering from the whimdy day, the allergen-induced day. So yeah, I think doing the normal end, and it says there's 2 bad endings, and then there's still 1 common route bad end that unlocked after we finished Raoul's route. You can actually do it doing either Raoul or Allan, but obviously we did both already. I figured it would be better to do that common route bad end just after doing everything. And yeah, and I guess it's not over either. Like, I thought this would be the last route, but the guide's like, oh, if you, like, try to start a new game, there's actually a secret route. So, I'm just like, who? Because, like, within the entire prologue, there are only choices that favor, like, one guy or another. Like, granted that Raoul and Allan, they didn't have, like, dialogue choices, like, pop up until, like, after, like, one playthrough, but there really wasn't any other choices for picking, like, another guy, was there? Unless we just spurned all of them? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, we'll do Allan's, normal and bad endings in the next episode, and that should probably take a while too. And then after that, we'll go into the super secret route. That's a lot of guys, right? That's like, what, 6? That's six routes? And I'm like trying to think like who it could be. I'm just like trying to think like who had a character portrait. And that kind of narrows it down. But yeah, it's like we haven't had like a lot of interaction. With him, so might be interesting. Alright, anywho. I hope you guys are having a fun time with this. And I'll see you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.